Dirty Angels by Jay Wilburn. Kip lined his bike up with the street at the top of Foster Hill. It went down steep to the bowl of the cul-de-sac. His friends stood behind him and egged him on. 1 foot planted on a pedal. Is that petal? Never remember which one is right. One is a flower. Let's try this one. Yeah, that's it. Okay, 1 foot planted on a pedal, and the other prepared to push off, even though gravity would do all the work and more. All right. On the back slope of Mr. Moore's roof, got 2 of these. I'm getting a bad habit of doubling up words. On the back slope of Mr. Moore's roof, Raff, Till, and Sprong sat side by side with their knees bent over the leaf-filled gutter, and their dusty wings folded to their backs. All right. And I got an extra number 6 there for no reason at all. All right, folded to their backs. Heat and tar smell filled the air around them. He's going to wipe out, Till said. Raff kept his eyes locked on Kip. That's why we're here, isn't it? We should let him fall. Sprong said as he chewed on something inside his lips. Shut up, Till said without looking. The upper arch of his right wing twitched, and a bent feather floated off the roof in front of them. I'm serious, Sprong said. He spit something brown and stringy after the feather into Moore's backyard. Let's make it a patchy backyard. He'll learn if we let him crash just once, and we won't be catching him the rest of his life. Till hummed and then said, "That's good thinking, Sprong. Now shut up." Kip kicked off, and the bike was already... No, it doesn't have to be was. The bike already wobbled as he raced down the sharp incline of pavement. I'm serious, Sprong said again. What do you think, Raph? I need to make that a comma. What do you think, Raph? Really? Raph pushed up with his hands and flapped his wings once. A dust devil. A dust devil swirled around the other two, and dirt stuck to the melting tar between shingles. Raph landed on his feet on the edge of the roof. I think dead little boys don't learn anything. without waiting on his companions. I could spell companions right while I'm here. Why not? Save me some trouble with the editing later. Without waiting on his companions, Raph dove off the roof, spread his wings, and soared over the street. The other kids at the top of the hill cheered, but did not see the angel. Kip's bike veered hard to the left. A 10-foot drop met a creek that was mostly poisonous waste water. The summer had been hot, and the filthy water was low enough to expose jagged rocks. Raph pushed Kip's shoulder, and the boy rolled hard to the drop-off on the right side of the road. Raph banked in that direction, but Till swooped into view and gave Kip's other shoulder a lighter push that put him true to center. The angels high-fived in the air above the boy's sweaty hair streaming behind him in the wind. Their hands were sticky from the tar on the roof. Kip was still going too fast when he hit the flat at the bottom of the hill. The boy's teeth clacked together loud enough to hear over the clang of the metal frame. spokes popped away from the wheels on both sides, and let's just call him Kip, and Kip went ass over tea kettle with the flipping bike. Sprung caught the bike in one hand and Kip over the other arm. The boy flipped around the invisible bicep. Not flipping, the boy flipped. The boy flipped around the invisible bicep. Raph caught him. And both boy and bike suspended in the air for a second, till said they're watching from up there. Sprung threw the bike into a spectacular tumble. Spectacular and loud, let's say. You got to do it, Sprung said. All right. Raph sighed a dusty breath and then ducked low before he tossed Kip into his own tumble. The boy cried out. As he skinned his elbow and seemingly, adverbs are bad, but I'm going to use one anyway. Skinned his elbow and seemingly shredded one knee. The other kids were already running down the hill. A couple of them lost their balance and skinned elbows and knees too. They gathered around Kip and all started talking at once. All right. One kid said, "It looked like you were flying Kip said, I felt like I was floating through the air. See, he's just fine, Sprong said. Raph shook his head. Flakes of invisible skin snowed off his head. Doesn't look like he learned a lesson. Takes a couple times, I think, Sprong said. Alright. Scene break. He's going to crack his head open good this time, Sprong said as he walked along the top of the fence behind Kip. Raph walked alongside on the northern side of the fence line, and Till followed on the southern side. We're going to catch him obviously. Till called up from the thick grass on the southern side. I think I got those sides right. Till's on the southern side, yeah. Sure, Sprong said. Why would we ever want him to learn the consequences of taking risks like this? He'll learn. Raph paused in the close cropped grass. Let me spell cropped right. Close cropped grass on the northern side. Kip wobbled worse than the day on his bike. Let's keep going with the sentence. And he wheeled his arms, but regained his balance and kept going. His angels followed. He'll think he's invincible. Sprong said. Let me fix invincible. I just left the V out, so what happened? Alright. He'll think he's invincible, Sprong said. They all think they're invincible. Raph. Man, I am leaving a letter out every single time. I need to stop saying invincible. They all think they're invincible, Raph said. It's the age. They grow out of it. And okay, I need to put a. It's the age they grow out of it, and that's why we're here. Some of them don't learn. Sprong said behind the boy. A snake struck from the tall grass, but was not able to catch Till's leg. Okay. Till didn't react, but kept his eyes up on Kip as the snake retreated. Kip's a good one. He's smart. He'll turn out well if we keep him alive. Okay. He'd seem a lot smarter to me if he wasn't walking across this fence, Sprong said. Raph said, just don't let him tear himself open if he falls wrong. Sprong didn't promise either way. Kip made it to the end of the fence and climbed down. Till watched him skip away as he wiped moisture away from his forehead. I thought for sure he was going to fall. He always falls. Would have been better if he had, Sprong said. Alright, let's do another scene break. We'll center that. And then this will be the last scene. I try to do 3 beats in short stories a lot of times. It matches up to sort of a fairy tale format where children's stories a lot of times have 3 beats, and it's something that kind of connects to our psyche by seeing 3 examples of things. So we'll try to close off the theme of this story in this last section. All right. Till's wings kept twitching. He didn't shed a feather every time. That's not a compound word in this case. He didn't shed a feather every time, but he was molting a lot. Sprong waved a hand. Come on, Till. You're killing my throat with all that dust. Till pulled his wings against his body. I don't like this. Sprong passed a can. No, he didn't pass it. Sprong held out a can to Raph. Try this. Raph looked at it and then away. Alright, I want to add a line up here. Raph laughed a little. You get invited to join. Hey man, thanks for stopping in. Sorry I missed your comment there until just now. Raph laughed a little. You get invited to join the heavenly. Oh, we're good, man. I'm glad you're here. You get invited to join the heavenly host in singing. Till pulled his wing against his body. I don't like this. Sprong held out a can to Raph. Try this. Raph looked at it and then away. Stop it. No, I'm serious, Sprong said. It's grape. It's good. You should try it. We need to focus on what's happening. Till said as his wings started twitching again. We're focused, Sprong said. It'll be fine. It doesn't look fine. feathers floated above Till's head. Raph finally took the soda, swallowed some, and handed it back. It did taste good, but Raph decided not to say anything. Hey Jacob, thanks for dropping in. Raph decided not to say anything. Alright. Now let's see what they're watching. 3 boys, all bigger than Kip, laughed as they kicked him on the ground over and over. Dirt turned to streaks of mud down his cheeks as he cried. They laughed about that too. We should push them down, Till said. Those are the boys who need a fall. Easy there, Sprong. Easy there, Sprong said. Easy there, Sprong said. This will work out fine. Like falling down. This is a thing they have to learn. Like Raph says, they mostly grow up and turn out fine. It's just Sprong didn't finish what he was saying. The 3 boys lifted Kip over their heads and tossed him over the drop-off quicker than Raph had swallowed his bit of grape soda. Kip clipped the side of his head on the drain pipe on the way down. He bit his tongue hard enough to make him forget about his head. This water was deeper, and it swept him along. All right. With the strike to the head, this will probably be a different paragraph. All right, with the strike to the head and the pain in his tongue, he sucked in a lot of water before his brain told him he should not be breathing it. Kip knew how to swim, but he threw each of his limbs through the current in different directions and twisted as he washed away. Kip kept trying to dive deeper as he tried to find the surface in his confusion. His head broke the surface finally, but he gagged and choked too much to suck in air and appreciate being above water before he was back under again. He got his limbs working in tandem and found the air again for some more choking. This time he vomited up clear water and sucked in a wet gulp of precious air to replace it. He would remember that breath of air and how it felt for the rest of his life. Back under again, he struck stone with his left shoulder. Even with the pain, he managed to hold his breath this time breaking the surface, he saw he was near the stone wall of the slough. That's slough. I'm going to look up how... I'll do this. The slough. I don't know if that's how you spell it for this particular type of water, but it'll be fine for now until I can look it up. Breaking the surface, he saw he was near the stone wall of the slough. And he grabbed for the concrete lip above his head. Of course, he missed and went under again. The next two, let's keep that the same paragraph. The next two tries were not as close as the first. His fourth time up, his wide eyes told anyone who was looking that he knew he was going to die. His hand was still above his head, but he made no effort to lurch up this time. One day, Kip would tell this story to his own son as he warned him to stay away from the water. He would tell his son that he felt like someone was lifting him, even though he was all alone and should have died that day. A soaking wet sprong held Kip up until the boy grabbed at the edge. Knowing Kip had no strength left, Sprong shoved him over and let the boy roll to his back on the concrete walkway. Kip burst into tears. He would eventually stop and limp home. He'd tell his parents. He'd tell his parents that the bruises were from falling off his bike. Of course, they knew him, so they believed him. He changed his clothes before they got home from work. Up as Raph and Sprong high-fived below, Till stayed up on the rise where the three bullies watched. One of them let out a nervous giggle. It was more than Till could bear. All right, I'm actually going to break that into a paragraph. I really thought he was dead. Maybe next time. Brief silence, and then all three bent over in laughter. It was more than Till could bear. He gave one more look to be sure the other two angels were still on the concrete walkway below. All right. He turned to the boys and got down at their face level. His eyes darkened black, and the skin crackled as dark thorns protruded. I'm not spelling that even close to right. Protruded from his face. Till grew more solid in his ugliness and spoke low as he said, "I'll see you three have your heads below water, and I will hold you there until you learn your lessons." The three boys ran away screaming as Till's face... The three boys ran away screaming as Till's face slowly returned to normal. They have to learn, don't they? He said to himself as his wings twitched behind him. Alright, I think that's the end of the story. I want to fix his little line here, though. I'll see you three have your... Say, one day you will fall. Okay, one day you will fall, and I'll see you three have your heads below water. Alright, let's make this a new sentence. I will hold you there until you learn your lessons. Say, no matter how long that takes. Alright, there we go. That's good and sinister and evil. Alright, so this short story that I just completed is about 1,770 words. Good short story, a little bit longer than a flash fiction, but turned out pretty well. Dirty Angels is the title. I kind of thought through that idea, and originally I was kind of thinking of it in terms of I was just going to have these like dusty, gritty angels kind of trying to protect a boy from normal boy stuff. But as I did the 3 beats and I got to that third one, I felt like the stakes needed to be a little higher for the story to pay off. So I put Kip into some real peril, and then had the angels. I had the angel that was kind of saying that Kip needed to learn his lesson, be the one that saved him. And then the one that kind of wanted to protect him, I kind of had him kind of lose it a little bit and get mean to the bullies, so they got their pay. They got their payback too. So I think all in all, it makes for a pretty satisfying story. And I'm always of the opinion that the quicker you can tell a story, the fewer words you have to use to get to where you're going is better. I know that there's a lot of publishers that are kind of looking for stories in that 5,000 word range, and there's stories that can go that range. But a lot of times, if you can tell a story in a shorter amount of space, if there's a word maximum and you turn in something that's really good that's well below that, I think sometimes that communicates a better writing skill sometimes to editors. And of course, if they're paying by the word, they're happy to pay you a little less money, I guess. But this story I felt like was good at under 2,000 words, so that worked out just fine.